Our city now has church spires, old bridges, and even a castle complex. But we're missing something, and it's not trams, that's for another episode. Nope, we are missing an economy. So, today I want to build a shopping street, or plaza, a European-style office district, and we'll also build this museum. Now, for our square, I want to kind of mix it up. So we're going to have some pretty regular, like that's the same basically as that. We're going to have some pretty regular European-looking buildings. We're going to have some pretty ugly buildings. And then we might even put like one of those EU commercial, this one. We could probably put this one in once. Yeah. We could do a ugly corner, which would be very unfortunate. It kind of pains me to place this, but I think, yeah, it kind of makes sense. We can also do, because I think there's some really good, yeah. We could do some actually really nice looking ones as well. Like palaces almost. So maybe I'll put another similar one up there. But I do actually really like the design with that parapet. So I'll repeat that again. So I've got all the buildings in now. I'm just going to go through and put the surfaces between them and the roads. I've added actually a building from the Japanese pack, which kind of doesn't make sense, but when you look at it, it's pretty postmodern. So you can imagine that when this country, because I think this country would, let's just say it would have turmoil in its history. So when that turmoil ended, and maybe I'm hinting at a future episode, but when that turmoil ended and the country was quite poor, they didn't really value the old buildings, so they were much more like ready to knock them down and build in a postmodern style. And I think it doesn't stick out that much, so I actually think it works really well. Now, what I want to do to really sell the fact that it's this busy shopping street, I want to add in these shop fronts at the bottom. There's also these storefronts that I've just found, which I'm going to use as well. I don't really like that, because they're all Eastern European. I could probably put this one in, it'll be like a hotel, a tiny motel lobby. I want them to actually fully cover the buildings behind, however, which I'm not sure is happening. Probably switch sides at this point. Now, something else I want to do on the streets leading out, I want to add, these kind of look like palaces, but they're not fully. Yeah, they actually honestly basically are. They're old, rich palaces, which kind of only still exist because there's some company which has refurbished them and turned them into headquarters. So that's what we're actually going to do in-game as well. So what I've used is just the statical, is only static ploppables of, I don't like that corner. I've used static ploppables of these German buildings, and what we can do from there if you ignore how that looks actually, but for the most part that looks fine. What we're going to do is we're going to use some blocks. So I'm going to start off with these high density commercial blocks. Even if they'll stick out, I'll probably just put, I'll like just cover them up later, but yeah, so I'm gonna have to put these, unless, yeah, none of the fake shop fronts are actually filling up, so I'm gonna have to put these for basically one each building, and I'll do the same to this other side. I was kind of hoping that wouldn't happen. Oh wow. Okay, yeah, so that one's actually already completely hidden already. I'll do it also the same for our big building here. I hope all of these don't just immediately turn into hotels as well. So using this district statistics mod, this second city is the one with the highest GDP per capita, so I think it has actually worked as well. Now, to blend this kind of, I guess, more economically productive area and the old town, I've got this pedestrian street here, which, well, I hope it's going to be used. Yeah, so it seems to be the main way that people get into the old town. And, oh yeah, I've also got this gate, which is, I mean, it's basically the Prague one, but I hope it kind of makes sense, and it kind of I've kind of placed it like where the edge of the city would be. Though I'm actually not sure where the wall would go. What I'm thinking, maybe we could kind of do like a scar inside of these blocks to kind of show that the wall used to go up to here. Like that's roughly where the wall used to go. But obviously the city's expanded out since. So what I might do, I want something, I think I might have an asset which could do this. I've got this one, and if I change its color, it would definitely, well, let's see if I can change its roof color. I think it definitely would work. It definitely fits the look. There we go. So yeah, I can change its roof color, and now it immediately looks like it fits a lot better. Ooh, an alley there. No, I'm gonna not do that. I think it just about doesn't kind of make enough sense. But what I will do, I could add that building in there. Yeah, I like that. I kind of have a bit of worry that some of my streets may look a bit too wide and a bit too planned. For example, down here, I think the curve looks a bit artificial. You don't really see curves in these sorts of places, so I might actually redo a couple of these and make it look like at the very least a lot more jagged. And yeah, like a straight line probably wouldn't make sense either. Yeah, I think even though that kind of pushes out into the road, we could actually pedestrianize the road, but then there would be nowhere for the cars to go. So I might just change the road color, and I don't know, we can call it a low traffic. Yeah, we can just call it something eco-friendly. This will be a green road, even though it's brown. So as for around this church, actually, to start off, I want to put actual cobblestones on this road, on this pedestrian one. Yeah, and then we could also probably do a little square out front. But yeah, around this church, I think I might want to do, let me change the color of this. I think I actually want to do like a hidden garden within the city block. And then that would kind of convey the fact that there was a city wall in the past. It would be nice to have like smaller buildings surrounding it, but because I do think this is kind of a more oh yeah, I've like redone the roads. This is more of a artery street. So I might keep that one, but I think the rest of the street will have to be full-sized. This could be, it would pain me to do it, but this could be a really good place to put. No, I think it's just a bit too close to the church. I don't think they would allow it. Although on this back street we could do it. So I've got it to work, and yeah, that looks terrible. So that's great. What I really want to do is contrast just how terrible some things look with these palaces. And I think I've got the hang of these palaces as well. And what I kind of want to do is I want to block some sight lines, so then, because essentially from the station you're really close to the museum, and then you're actually really close to the center of the city. Because look at that, you're actually only really as soon as you get to the square, you're only 2 blocks away from the central square, because you've got this block here and then this one. So the longer that I make it feel, kind of the better. So that's why I'm not doing any direct roads for one. And then, for example, here, even though it kind of looks like it from this angle, from the square, it's really not... wow. From the square, it's really not framed as kind of a simple walk. I really like the Eastern European buildings. They could work in a lot of contexts, but the roof... well, hold on, unless I can change the roof color. No. Yeah, the roofs are just so terrible. I mean, obviously it's good for Chelyabinsk, but for like most cities it kind of doesn't work very well. I've gone for a 2x6 where, quite ironically, oh, well, it's not perfect, but the back actually nearly fits. And then when I've painted it the same color, it kind of looks like a Art Nouveau mansion. So I've kept it. We could, of course, just replace... we could move this tower to the left there. Oh, that might actually make a lot more sense than what we've got currently. Let me try it out. So I've switched it out, and I've kind of hid it behind the view line again. I think... I'm not sure. It obviously sells the story a lot better, but I'm not sure how it looks. I might... you know what, I'll put a poll up. This might be my first one ever. I'll put a poll up and you can decide. I think I'll release it when this video releases as well, so I'll let you guys decide whether... I'll put some pictures as well. But for now, I think I want to just finish off a couple of these blocks, and then we'll get to the interesting ones in a second. So, this street, I want it to be... like, there's actually Marks and Spencer's in Prague. I did realise that. But, yeah, so I want this to be kind of chain stores, probably clothing. I was going to say shops, like, yeah, obviously. I actually, like, for this district, what I want there to be is kind of a mixture. I think I've said that already. But, yeah. And then that church that I just copied from the other place. I copied Prague, but, like, why reinvent the wheel? This street that you see now, I want this to be probably, like, the tourist trap street. So there might be souvenir shops, there'll be ATMs, there'll be a sketchy bank. Probably food that you probably shouldn't eat, but I actually don't think there'll be too many restaurants there. This is like I don't know any real life reference, to be honest, but yeah. So you can see that I added a ton of ATMs and signs as well. I kind of wish there were other signs that I could have used, but I'm okay with that. So I've finished up the blocks, and you can probably see a lot different. So we've got this building, which is probably like the National Bank or something. And then we've got this building, which I equally think could be the National Bank. And, well, we can't have every building being the National Bank, but, so we've got them. And obviously a smaller palace thing there. I'm so proud of this one. I can't believe I actually thought of it. It kind of reminds me... you know what, now that I'm looking at it, it kind of reminds me of that one City Skylines 1 office. Please do not break. Oh no. Oh, this was so perfect. Oh no. Okay. But yeah, it's literally exactly what I wanted. It's the right window size, it's the right height. So that's kind of what I'm going for. We can see that we've got kind of the shopping street here. And you might have seen in the time lapse, I don't know if I've kept it or not, we've kind of got the other end. Now, ooh, this is literally the Prague street. Now that we have a fully fledged shopping street, I actually do want to give it a custom surface. What you tend to see in these streets is it'll be a pretty modern looking, pretty ugly surface. So I might cycle through. I mean, wow, that's I actually do like this surface, so I can't really call it ugly, but it's... No, that one's too bright. Oh, wow. Wow. That might be it. That might be our contender. Where's it from? I could almost... Wow, did not expect that. I mean, it kind of sticks out, but not that badly. But yeah, it's quite funny. I think it's quite funny. So yeah, we'll keep it. Now what I want to do... Now, before the end of this episode, I want to basically address one thing, and that's this building at the end of our plaza. Now, so yeah, this is the National Museum. I wonder where you can take inspiration from. And the real one in Prague, there's like a really cool pantheon essentially there. I'd like really recommend it. But what we're gonna do for these blocks behind it, a lot of museums, like the I guess Natural History Museum in London, the Prague one technically does, and like the Prado in Madrid, they all have kind of annexes in the city blocks behind them. So what we can do in this city, we can basically do the same. And I think in these annexes is basically extra exhibits, but it's like, it's where everything actually goes on to run the museum, actually takes place. So for example, for ours, we can create probably a pretty lavish building out the back in this block that I've prepared. In Madrid, they're connected by like underground, that's the end of the sentence. I wonder if we can use a commercial building. For example, if I sunk this down, let me get some more light as well. That's all we're getting. See, that's a bit... you know what? That's not too bad. Okay, so I've finished it up. I've given it a nice roof. If you were paying attention, it's actually pretty much the same color scheme as that building, but don't look into it too much. We have this little corner left, which I'll give it a nice... So we've got this. I added this glass roof in the middle because I imagine when you go through the underground walkway, it kind of spills you out into the atrium here. But it kind of convinced me. I think we're due like an arcade somewhere else. I already kind of done one over here, which I actually think that's probably the best spot for me to have put it. But I reckon we could maybe do one. Now, I couldn't find anywhere to put a arcade, but I did use that same North American commercial building, and I put it inside yeah, this is a national bank, isn't it? And I think this is a really cool effect. It's like it's been renovated in the 90s or something. But yeah, I think that's all we have time for. I know I spent like way too long making this episode, which is why it's a couple days late. Yeah, tell me what you want to see. I've got some ideas. We will do a tram episode coming up. It'll look cool. But yeah, let's do, closing shots.